We just tried what we can do, but it's only Allah who can help.
Momores Diallo, Grts, at the Tanje Fishing Center.
Vegetables are normally in abundant supply during the dry season, but when the heavens open up, most of them disappear from market stalls. The women who import the vegetables from neighboring countries attribute the phenomenon to a number of issues. Our Isaac Mane reports on how the vegetable vendors are coping with the recurring unpleasant effects of the rainy season on their trade.
It's another busy day at the Serakunda market with the usual hustle and bustle of people buying and selling goods. The scene might indicate that the vendors are doing well, but in fact they are not.
Business is very difficult because the vegetables are very expensive and customers are not buying like they used to.
Because most of the vegetables are imported from Senegal, transportation costs makes them more expensive.
Green people fana.
The rainy season makes business slow for us because many of the vegetables don't like water and they spoil easily. Once the rain starts, they get expensive.
Binta Jata has been selling at the market for many years now, but she said this has been the worst year she has known.
It is very difficult for us to get these vegetables because we import them from Senegal and the transportation is of great concern because it is very expensive.
These women here say they have one common problem, which is the issue of transporting these goods from Senegal where they are imported. They are calling on government or individuals to help them ease the issue of transportation, which will help them ease the issue of mobility to sell their vegetables cheaper. For Grts News, I am Isaac Mane.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The president of Benin's Football Federation has been sent to jail for embezzling 450,000 euros provided to the country's FA by a mobile phone company. And authorities in Senegal have released the rapper Omar Touré alias Chat, who is a vocal critic of President Abdoulaye Wade's third-term bid. We have details of these and other stories in this roundup of news.
The news is making the headlines. On Monday, the president of Benin's National Football Federation, Angeran Musharraf, was jailed in Cotonou for embezzlement. The scandal erupted 6 months ago. The case concerns over 450,000 euros that was granted to the federation by a mobile telephone company between 2008 and 2010. Musharraf's arrest comes at a time when the country's football is facing a serious crisis within its management. Senegalese rapper Omar Touré was released from custody on Tuesday. Touré, known as Tia, was held by police for over 24 hours after he criticized President Abdoulaye Wade's plans to run for re-election. Touré was questioned over remarks he made to opposition supporters on Saturday concerning President Wade's age. In January, Touré helped start the Enough is Enough movement, encouraging young people to vote. The movement's support is growing and looks likely to have a serious influence in the 2012 presidential election. Heavy snowfall has left large parts of eastern South Africa covered in snow, causing havoc for motorists. Authorities closed sections of highways, including the road between Johannesburg and the coastal city of Durban.
This is a huge inconvenience because we don't know what's going on here. We haven't received any updates as to how much longer we will be stuck here. What makes it worse is that we have no food. We just have to sit it out.
The authorities are having a difficult time opening up roads. South Africa usually receives light snow once or twice a year, but since Monday, up to 60 centimeters of snow has fallen in the east of the country. More snow is expected on Wednesday as South Africa faces record low temperatures.
Delegates from across West Africa are meeting in the Senegalese capital Dakar to devise solutions to the unsustainable rate at which sharks are being caught. The meeting evaluated a United Nations plan seeking to protect the endangered marine species, whose numbers are decreasing at an alarming rate because of overfishing. Let's look at this report for more on that.
West Africa has a large population of sharks. Around 100 different species have been identified in the region. However, due to overfishing, sharks are becoming increasingly scarce. In 2002, an estimated 25,000 tons of shark were caught, compared to 12,000 tons today. The sharks are sought after for their fins, which sell for over 90 euros a kilogram.
Most of the species are threatened. Some local fish are now extinct. We did a survey in local waters and we were unable to find any of a certain species that used to be abundant in the region.
In order to monitor shark fishing, the FAO, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, adopted a regional plan in 2004. It is designed to promote the conservation of sharks in West Africa. A conference recently opened in Dakar to evaluate the United Nations plan.
It's been over 10 years that FIBA has been carefully monitoring the number of sharks. They are an important marine resource in the protected region. They are an important resource for the local population. In terms of biodiversity, it's an impressive species. This conference is to evaluate the project 8 years after it began and to draw attention to it. We want to inform people of the fragility of the population and the measures that have been put in place to protect the resource.
Et les mesures de gestion qu'il faudrait mettre en place pour protéger la ressource.
This is the first conference of its kind in West Africa. It has brought together around 70 specialists and conservationists.
A Moroccan military plane has crashed in bad weather, killing about 80 people. And in Tunisia, the former head of the security in the Ben Ali administration and 23 other people accused of trying to flee the country and possessing money obtained illegally have appeared before a court. We have more on these and other stories in this roundup of news.
80 people were killed when a military plane in Morocco crashed into a mountain in the south of the country. The military said that 60 soldiers, 12 civilians and 9 crew members were on board. The 3 survivors and 42 bodies recovered so far have been taken to a nearby military hospital. The plane was to land at the military airport at Guelmim. Authorities blame the accident on bad weather. The crash is Morocco's worst-known air disaster since 1973, when 105 people died in a crash near the capital, Rabat. Ali Saritai, the former head of security under Tunisia's ousted president Ben Ali, was summoned to appear in court along with 23 other members of Ben Ali's family. They are charged with attempting to flee the country and with the illegal possession of currency. All the members of the Ali Trabelsi families were ordered to appear, 14 men and 9 women, including 2 sisters of Leila Trabelsi, as well as her nephew Ahmed, who was sentenced in June to 4 years in prison. In New York, Christine Lagarde, the director of the International Monetary Fund, urged the United States to find a solution for raising its debt ceiling by the August 2nd deadline. Although Ms. Lagarde declined to comment on different proposals offered by the Republicans and Democrats, she warned that a default by the U.S. would have grave consequences for the world economy.
You can follow that story and other GRTS news reports as well as GRTS programs live on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio Live. And before we end this edition of the news, a recap of the top stories. President Jammeh has urged the youth of the West Coast region to acquire crucial vocational skills and rise to the challenge of nation building. Movers and shakers in the education sector have turned the spotlight on the Education Policy Document 2004-2015 with a view to ensuring the attainment of the education-related MDGs by 2015. Conservationists and marine biologists from across West Africa have descended on Dakar to protect the fast disappearing shark from extinction. And authorities in Senegal have released from custody the rapper Omar Touré alias Chat, who is a vocal critic of President Wade's third-term bid. With that, we come to the end of the news. Thanks for watching and do have a good night.